New Year's resolutions get a bad rap, and honestly, sometimes they deserve it. They're often too big, too vague, or tied to unrealistic expectations that fade by February. But goal setting, that's a different story. In this episode, we're talking about how we approach goals at Moxie. Big goals, small goals, personal goals, professional goals, and everything in between. We'll talk about what works for us, what doesn't, and how we think about growth without tying everything to January 1st. Because the truth is, goals don't have to be loud or flashy to matter. They just have to be intentional. Welcome to Behind the Brand, the podcast for small business owners, solopreneurs, and aspiring entrepreneurs who are ready to start strong, stand out, and stay bold. Each week, we'll take you behind the scenes to explore what it takes to build a memorable brand and grow a successful business. Are you ready to get behind the brand? Let's dive in. Hello, Moxieverse. Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Brand. Taylor here, and I am joined by, as always, Miss Kelly Kane.
Thank you. I'm trying to get comfortable. I'm in a new seat.
You're in a new seat, yes. So it is just the two of us. We kind of thought, we're the ones kind of in charge of agency goals.
Right.
So maybe it would just be the two of us.
But let's be honest, everyone else is too busy.
Yes, right, exactly. We are in to Addie season now, so a lot of our team is busy working on that and needs to just be at their desk.
Right.
So we're going to talk about goal setting, but I wanted to ease into it. So my first question for you is, do you do New Year's resolutions?
Good question. You know, I always think about what I want to work on every year. And I was going to talk about that too. Some people are like, no, I'm not going to do resolutions.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important to have a little bit of a roadmap. Maybe not fleshed out fully, but I think in work and business to have some goals.
Yeah, I agree completely. I don't necessarily think I set New Year's resolutions. You know, it's always like, oh, I want to be healthier. I do really feel committed to that this year.
Yeah.
I feel fully out of like postpartum now.
There's no excuse.
Yeah, like I need to get my shit together. One thing that I do is set a word of the year.
Oh, an intention.
Yeah. And
a mea culpa.
yes, and mine this year is efficiency. I want to be more efficient in all things, work, life, everything. Last year, especially towards the end of the year, I felt like I was spiraling and like I couldn't rein anything in. Like it just felt like everything was
life
everywhere.
was running you. You weren't running life.
Yeah. And I don't want that. So I'm working on setting up systems. Like, for example, and this is just on like the personal level, one thing that is really hard for me is like meal planning and planning our week.
Same.
I am coming up with a system, a quarterly based system, and I made a spreadsheet for it for like
share
these.
that,
I can. Like these are our meals. I have themes. So, like Monday's always like a pasta night. Tuesday's always some version of a taco or like rice.
Okay, I can't
thing.
have pasta. You need to change that.
Okay, well, I'll change it for your diet. But that's just one thing for me to be more efficient in that. Even because like
stop using brain space.
Yes. And like I just don't want to think. I want to just be able to be like, okay, these are the groceries that I need. And even if I bought those same things 2 weeks ago, that's fine. You know, like my family doesn't need a gourmet meal every night.
Right.
My kids won't eat it anyway.
I think a lot of people do that. Even when they order groceries, they just hit same order.
Yeah.
And I think that's smart though, because when you don't like, okay, for example, this morning I had to get ready to come to work.
Yeah.
And you know,
oh no,
I know. And you know, newsflash, I don't wear makeup every day. And my stuff was still packed from when I went to Maya's graduation 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, where's my makeup? Where's my makeup? How do I use it? You know, and that just took so much longer than if I would have unpacked my makeup. But I'm going to Hawaii next week, so I'll have to pack, whatever. It's just when you just don't have, everything is harder. Like when your house is a mess, you can't find your keys, like this morning. You know, it's just things like that.
So that's my thing that I'm really working on.
Okay,
and I'm also energized by that word to do things differently at work this year.
Because it means something to you.
Yes.
Okay, for me, I'm going to use maybe I want a word now. Can I have a word?
Yes, you can have a word.
I think I'm going to choose wellness.
Okay.
And it's not, yes, I am trying to lose weight. I started before the New Year's though. Here's the thing about resolutions or whatever. It's like the busiest time of the year, especially for us. And then we're going to do it in, you know, it's dark outside. Yeah. We're working to death. You know, I started right after Thanksgiving. I'm so glad I did because we are so stressed out right now with everything kind of happening after the break. I'd be, you know, drinking wine and eating pizza and lattes by the gallon.
Yeah.
And which just makes you more tired and more stressed and more crabby. So I do feel like I'm in a good place for that. But wellness, I'm going to say wellness because I think it includes my physical health, my mental health, doing things that bring me joy, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So,
you can even say like financial wellness. I mean, wellness can be tied to so many things.
well, we're still working on that. I was getting Maya off the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But, for our business,
No,
making sure,
everything.
you
yeah.
are so locked
just,
into that.
I just, yeah, you can't, it's the cliche, but you can't show up for other people if you're not your
right.
best self.
100%.
I mean, I think this last year, about how important sleep was for me, and I want to feel better physically. This lifestyle or diet that I'm on is really helping me with that. Like, you don't realize how your habits are really.
Yeah.
And
how
I
much they're
am
affecting you.
decorating my exercise room. I can't use it until it's fully decorated. So I'm working on that.
Yeah,
I have to
yeah.
work in decorating in every goal.
Yeah, I love that for you. And I will say, I've worked with you now for 2026. This is our 5th year working
Aw.
together. It's crazy. I've seen you, focus in on this from time to time, but this time feels different for me. Like, it feels like you're in a place where, okay, now your kids are,
On their way.
they're on
Yeah.
their way, right? Like, Moxie is doing really well. We have an awesome team in place. Like, you can focus on that
Yeah.
more and feel really like okay. Like, it's my turn to focus on me, and I just really love that for you.
Yes, I agree. I think I'm putting myself back on the list finally. And I'm tired of giving up on it. I've given up
right
for many years.
Well, it's easy to do. Something happens and it's like, well, that goes to the wayside, Yeah. Well,
Yeah, good.
I'm happy for you.
Well,
I think
thank
that's
you.
great. Yes. One thing that I wanted to just briefly mention before moving on to the next thing is, about resolutions and how you were saying, okay, well, I started in November. I was just listening to a podcast over our break, a Mel Robbins podcast, which I don't listen to all the time because sometimes
I like her.
Sometimes that type of go get it, girl, is too much for me. I don't know. It reminds me of my MLM days, and it freaks me out. So I don't. But she had a really interesting guest that was talking about resolutions and about goal setting. And kind of the point of it was January 1 is not the end all be all.
No.
Every
It's so hard to start January.
right. And if we look at it as it's the end all be all, we are going to fail. But there's so many things that mark fresh starts, birthdays, anniversaries, a Monday, all of these things can be used as little fresh starts. And so if you're, struggling to make that resolution now, well, maybe next Monday you'll make it, so
For me, it was a social post I saw.
yeah.
It was of the coach that I contacted
Yeah.
and say, hey, I want you to help me. It was just something resonated with me. I had to put the order in, meet with
Yeah.
her.
Can you help me with what?
She's like, oh, I love to help people. What do you need help with? She's so sweet. And I don't even know how I got connected with her.
Yeah.
She's right here local in Sartell. Shout out to Nell Anderson. And then I just thought, I want to do this. Realistically, I had to order the food for it. And then Thanksgiving was coming. So I decided, okay, I'm going to have my Thanksgiving, but Monday I'm on it.
Yeah, right. Like that holiday happened, and then, you have your fresh start. So there's just so many opportunities throughout the year for a fresh
Right.
start. And that can be applied to business too, right? Like, okay, maybe Q1 wasn't where you wanted it to be. Well, Q2, there's your fresh start, baby. Like, let's go. What can we do now? As a business owner and the leader of our agency, how do you go about setting goals for the business, the team, etc.?
For me, it usually, at the end of the year, we're looking at, well, we track our performance every month,
Yep.
Especially sales and things. But toward the end of the year, I meet with the accountant and we have to go over the tax liabilities and all of that. And then, I think that kind of sparks me to start thinking about the next year, not just, and I have to do like a financial goal. 'Cause
Right.
I make myself do a budget. And I just think for many years I never did that. And we just seat of our pants. And
Yeah.
you can't do that. You
Right.
can do that for a while until you realize that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I would say that was like maybe the number one business thing I learned. And I
Learned it.
a little late, 4 or 5 years in. Anyway, needed someone to teach me, right?
Yeah.
So I think it starts there for me. And then, so I set the financial goal first because I have to get the numbers in order and that type of thing. And then I think I just, over the break, usually, we just kind of know like, oh, we got to do this better. We got to do that better.
I think
But
December always feels like at least for me, I feel every year I'm like in December, like, well, these are the things I want to do differently next year.
And I know I'm probably annoying and I don't mean to be like, we're not doing that again. That's just, I just can see that we're not, no one did anything wrong. We all, it's just like, oh, we just did it this way. Maybe that didn't work.
Right.
So I haven't, really set any specific goals and we haven't even talked as a team about that. But I think, we should. And I think if we ever get a moment, we should talk about that. I like to ask everyone what they want to do better.
Right.
I think efficiency was one thing we know. We have to get back in line. But that comes with with growth, right? I think that this was growing pains. We have a system, but we have some personnel shifting happening. And so that's a great time to start a new system. So no, that's not going to happen on January 1st. It'll probably happen through the quarter. And I have to say, for goals, I do that to myself all the time. I set goals like for what I want to get done at home and at work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that'll take me a day when that takes me a week. Or I'll like say, I can get this done this weekend. It's like, no, that's a month goal. And so I think that happens, that's okay. I think you can still set the goal, work toward it, but know that goals can change and deadlines can change. And, sometimes I think we have to be there by January, 1st. I'm like, no. By the end of January, maybe we'll work on it. And,
Yeah, small steps, right?
But if you didn't have a goal, you wouldn't work on it at all.
Right.
So I convinced Eddie, my husband, to do the diet with me, which is key, right? 'Cause then he's not sabotaging me, and he cooks for me, bonus. So that's my issue is I'm too lazy. I don't want to make food.
Who the hell wants to cook?
Right. That's why the shakes and the bars work for me.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, he was saying he wanted to lose so much weight by this trip, and I'm like, what's the deadline for? Because I used to do that. If I don't lose it fast enough, then I'm not doing it.
Right.
I have this deadline, and I have a goal by Hawaii. I have a reach goal, and I have a more realistic goal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter to me if I reach that or not. I still have lost weight.
Right.
If I wouldn't have tried.
Right. You still have to celebrate the small
So-
things in between. Sometimes the deadline can be the thing that kills you.
It can drive you or kill you.
Yeah.
Same thing with goals. I feel like maybe we didn't get here, but we got here, and that's better than where we were. And so I don't think, just like resolutions or January 1st, I don't think the goal's the end all be all either. You can reach for something and still be better. Progress, not perfection.
And part of having goals, like you said, something to reach for, but is understanding when you maybe have to pivot. Like things come up that are out of your control. And you might have to shift and make some changes, especially in our line of business. Okay, we say we have this goal to have this much monthly. Well, we did that last year. We made it. Hell yeah, we worked our butts off. And then January 1 turned around and
we had a long-term client.
we had a long-term client.
Retire.
Now we're starting that over. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that we failed. That doesn't mean that all the work we did last year was for nothing. You just have to learn to pivot and take a new perspective on things.
I do feel like when there's a challenge like that, it energizes me.
For real. I was saying that whole, kind of last 4 weeks that we were here. I was like, I feel so excited. Like I'm so excited for 2026. And I still am. This is the most excited I think I've been for a year.
Really?
And that feels really weird because we're kind of like in this weird, we have some really awesome proposals out there that I'm like really excited about. And who knows, we could get none of them, but it's not for lack of trying.
Right. When I think of last year, I just feel exhausted. Like, I don't even want to think about that. And then I think the break, though, was great. We were off for 2 weeks, and I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I just slept and slept and slept, and now I'm like, oh, I feel pretty good now. You just need that kind of a break.
Absolutely.
Well, I think goals can help.
Mm-hmm. What are some ways that you help maybe your employees set goals? I know we obviously do like reviews, and by the wayside, we say, hey, let's go get lunch, and we talk about those things.
That's a
but
review.
Yeah, I know, but
Okay.
I don't know. Sometimes they feel structured and sometimes they don't. I don't know.
Well, 'cause
Maybe that's
me.
just me and you. I don't know.
That's 'cause that's me. I don't want to should I do that 1-0 thing system?
No,
Yeah,
please
right.
don't.
Yeah.
Please don't. But do you, when you're, preparing for those and preparing to meet with your employees, is there certain things that you think about when you're saying like, these are what I want you to reach for or work towards in the year?
No, I mean, I probably should. I feel like we are such a seasoned team, and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a coworker, that way. I more or less talk about what everyone's most proud of, what they want to work on, because most of the time they know,
Right.
and then I give my feedback, and I'm just like, you better do this better,
No, you don't.
right? I'm just saying I don't do
Yeah,
that.
you definitely don't do
Because
that.
I think we function as a team, and maybe you're doing this because I'm doing that.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
Yeah.
it's,
Well, and
it's how we interact together.
I also think like the nature of our business is things are moving so fast all the time, and we're, and I don't want to say we're churning around because we're not a production house. Like I always
Yeah.
want to stress that we're not a production house. We're not just whipping things out because we have new projects that we're working on continuously. We kind of learn from each thing that we did how we can make it better the next time, and so it feels like we're always consistently setting goals or working towards different things all the time. And
Right.
so it's not so much like here's just one thing I want you to work on this year, because we maybe had to work on one thing from February to March. Well, then we learned something new there, and now we got to work on it through
Right.
April, right? Like, I don't
Right.
know.
I think, what I said before about how it's not like one person's goal, it's kind of how we interact together. Like, for example, we may have thought, oh, Michael's not getting his websites done. And then we take a step back. I'm like, maybe we can change the way we
do,
schedule
yes.
it. And
Yeah.
we're putting him, like setting him up to fail.
Yeah.
So that's like a system type of a thing, which we have been working on. And it seems to be working, but we didn't wait till January 1st to do that.
Right.
We're like, okay, we're killing this person. Let's
Yeah,
step
I think
back.
that was one thing for me that I really am taking into this year. And I don't want to say this in a way that sounds like I'm just like a for myself kind of person, because I'm not. Like, I want to do well so then our team can do well.
Right.
But I think there are things that happened last year that I did not do well on. And I'm working so hard to change that for the betterment of our
Right.
whole
I mean,
team,
we all have
right?
things we can work on, right?
Yeah.
And I think
But it can be hard to acknowledge those sometimes, right?
Right.
And
And it was-
I definitely there were times where I was like, what am I doing? And you had to tell me, like, step back, like, let's look at this.
I can see when you're
And,
spiraling.
yeah.
I don't like that you're working at night, by the way. However, I know. So we talked about
I
that,
know,
what we're going to
yeah.
do to fix it. So there's things like that
Yeah.
happen. And I think I had to tell you, which was kind of hard for me, like, you got to stop doing websites this way.
Yeah.
It's just not that you're doing anything wrong. You're just,
Well, it was not efficient, and it
you're
was
killing
not.
it. Well, you're just killing yourself and everyone
right,
else.
and
So
and
let's
the
do-
budget and the scope, and it was just not working well. And I actually did need to hear that, because I was like,
Yeah, and you took it well.
Yeah.
But sometimes we're like sisters. We're like, "Meh, meh, meh. Will you do this? Will you do that?
like yesterday when we were planning out Addie's.
And I'm like, I know.
I wanted to kill you.
I know. I did. That was not. I was taking my frustration out on you. It wasn't you.
I know.
You know that, right?
100%, because that's how we work. And I just
Yeah.
had it. Like,
We
no,
were
it
like
was-
really agreeing,
Yeah, yes.
but bitching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do best.
Yeah. Well,
And then we
hopefully-
come here the next day and laugh, and it's
Well,
no
good.
problem.
I mean, that's to talk about acknowledge it. I know I'm a pain in the ass, but I also was just trying to concentrate when everyone was talking, and my D was just like, "Oh my God, I made this list, and I'll make it again." Okay, everyone. I think that's why we work really well together. We all know each other. We're
Yeah.
all doing everything for the best, and I don't have to worry about hurting people's feelings, right?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't
anyway.
think so.
No. I think, it's more team goals. And I think, maybe not in a formal setting. What we do address, I think, the strengths and weaknesses a
Yeah.
little bit, but in a more friendly way, in a more of a feedback type of way. But like, I'll just mention it in the time. Like,
Yeah.
hey, this has to get done this week.
Right. Yeah. Get to work.
It's due. What are we going to do? What
Yeah.
do you need help? And that's the other thing.
Right.
If you see someone that's maybe not doing well, a lot of times it's because of, like I said, our scheduling, or maybe they're just mentally not in a great place, and that's why we have a team, and you need help. And
Yeah.
so I'm checking in all the time, and so are you. Not because like, are you doing your job? I'm like,
Yeah.
you need help.
Right, exactly.
Okay, we thought this was 2 hours, but it's 2 days. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's fix the schedule.
Yeah.
I think that happens more than we think people are wasting time.
I mean, we set goals for our team every day, right?
Yeah.
These are the projects that we need you to get done in these hours. And
But we don't always know.
right. It's half the time we're shooting from the hip, and
Right.
Especially as we've taken on a lot of new things. We're doing a lot more video. That is a weak spot for me. I'm like, oh, shouldn't that just take an hour? I just don't know. Producer
I know
Abby's
every time
laughing
when
because she
every
hears the video
time
all the
when you say that this isn't done, I'm like, you only put 2 hours on there. You put 2 hours for everything.
2 or
2 hours, 2
4.
hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, and I'm like, yeah.
We're working on it. We're getting better. Anyway, I know I've said this already, and kind of like our, end of the year 2025 podcast, but I am really excited for this year. I think there's a lot of good new things happening for our agency. I'm excited for Mackie to be here. That's going to just be so fun.
I forgot, and I didn't bring it, but our whiteboard came.
Oh my gosh.
So I do think maybe next Tuesday we should ask the group let's write our goals down.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to have SMART goals, right?
Smart. No.
I don't know what the S is, but measurable, attainable.
Realistic, timely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Strategic?
Strategic.
Is it? I don't know if
Yes,
it
I
is.
think so.
Well, we'll look that up later. You guys can correct us.
Look it up, yeah, right. on the
Okay,
whiteboard.
but if you don't want to remember the acronym. It's just don't forget about them.
Yeah.
Go back to them and say, how are we doing?
Yeah.
I think that's what we need to do. And it shouldn't be, honestly, it shouldn't just be financial.
Right.
That's just one part of the business
Yeah.
that I don't want any of these people to even
Have to
worry
worry
about.
about,
I mean,
yeah.
you and I talk about it, and it's, that's one indicator of a healthy business. But also, did we get to work on cool projects?
Yeah. Well, like me
Is
last
everybody
year,
happy?
I just randomly one day, I think I was going to my networking group and I was like, I'm setting a goal for Moxie. I want to do 5 more brands before the end of the year.
Did
Like,
you? Did you?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so I write it down. I don't even know.
I think one I had to say like was a quasi. Like I think I had to say. I don't think it was a buildable project, but
So you did a free logo for somebody.
you approved the free logo for somebody.
Oh, shoot. But we did it. You
Yeah,
didn't
we
say-
did it.
Your goal did not say it had to be billable.
That is
so
true.
we're done. Eddie always needs logos.
Yeah, that's okay. Eddie
He
gets
just
to
asked me
that.
to send a PDF of his sauce
I can't
logo.
believe he hasn't asked you if we're submitting his logo to the Addies.
Oh, he knows, and he knows he's going up if he wins.
Oh, we are. It is on the list?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. I love it.
But he asked me,
If that wins a gold, I will die. It's great. I love it, but that would just be so amazing.
okay, so Eddie
funny.
doesn't listen to the podcast, I can say this. I want to get him some work shirts with his name on it, with his logo on it. and his
Yeah.
name. He's selling his sauces to a restaurant.
Oh.
And he's like, I can hear him on the phone. Kelly will send you a PDF of that logo. I'm like, okay. Which logo, Eddie?
Yeah,
oh,
right.
Your sauce logo.
Your sauce logo.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's funny. Does this restaurant know you?
Knows Eddie.
Oh,
Friends
okay.
with Eddie. So
Sure.
one of his ex-employees bought a restaurant.
Okay.
And she asked for the Bloody Mary mix, and he
Wow.
said no, but you can buy it from me. So she came over and bought sauce and Bloody Mary mix. So he's like, I got my first commercial.
That's
client.
awesome.
And she wanted to promote it because it's in the area where his restaurant was, and
Okay.
people know about his Bloody Marys. So now he's like, I forgot to ask Michael to get me that PDF, but
Oh, so Kelly now has to ask Michael for the PDF.
right. I like
Oh, that's really cool though.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know where we got with that.
I don't either, but
oh, the logos.
Yeah.
That's right. But if you didn't set that, maybe we wouldn't have pushed.
Right, exactly.
I
Yeah.
love. So they used to bother some of our other people we used to work with, but I like that challenge, that goal.
I work so much better when
do too.
like I love
Kind of makes
the-
a game out of work.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love the hunt. Like,
Yeah, right.
ooh, it just makes it more fun. I feel like I care more about a proposal or a pitch to a client when I'm like, I really want that. Like that would be, and then it's not because it will increase our budget. It's because that work sounds so fun. Like we have
Right.
some proposals out there right now that I'm like,
That would be
would
fun.
be like it's just me. Like that is a client that was built for me. So
Right.
it would be great.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, well, I'm really excited for this year with you, ready to
Yeah,
crush
same.
some goals. Next week, we'll get that whiteboard out and we'll write all over it.
Right.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Bye.
Well, thank you for listening into this week's episode of Behind the Brand. We will see you next week for another awesome guest. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Behind the Brand. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend. If you didn't, share it with an enemy. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review. To stay connected, follow us at the links in the show notes below.